Some of y'all have been telling me to stop fake laughing, but honestly, y'all should be directing that energy towards this guy right here. That's gotta be worse, right? Anyway, as we all know, Kendrick Perkins is the biggest Warriors hater, and recently he had this to say of the imminent return of Andrew Wiggins.
Why y'all so optimistic about this right now?
You know, it's things like this that make me wonder sometimes about the future of sports media, because for the audience here today, let me just press the rewind button really quick.
George and Kawhi, what a tandem is Wiggins. Kawhi runs and defends, snaps it outside to Wiggins. Goes by Bullock. You got a pretty good look. Tatum drives on Wiggins, stops. Leads to Poole on a kick. Wiggins still looking for his first field goal. That'll do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, do y'all think Perkins even believes a single word that comes out of his own mouth? Because, I honestly don't. From here, I'm going to tell you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Andrew Wiggins is literally about to change the NBA landscape. In the Marvel movie Infinity Wars, Thanos at one point already had 5 stones and was an unstoppable monster. But yet, it was only when he got his hands on the last stone, the last missing piece of the puzzle, that he was given the power to erase half the universe with just a snap of his fingers. Well, using that analogy isn't too far off from the current state of the 2023 Golden State Warriors. Right now, they're one of the best offensive teams in the league. Then when it comes to defense, they're in the middle of the pack. But look, as of today, it's no longer a question of whether Andrew Wiggins gets back on the court, but when. And after that happens, after the 2014 number 1 pick gets reinserted into the rotation, the Warriors are going to get one of the best perimeter defenders in the league and another efficient 20 points a game scorer. Sheesh! This is going to be nothing but bad news for the rest of the league, and the 2022 NBA regular season and playoffs proved it. I mean, time and time again, Wiggins was tasked with defending the opposing team's best offensive player. And whether it was LeBron James, Kawhi Leonard, Luka Doncic, or even Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown on the NBA's biggest stage, Air Canada was always ready to bring them to Wiggins Island on a first-class ticket. If you don't believe me, just look at the numbers here. Kawhi Leonard is one of the definitions of an efficiency machine. He's a master at getting to a spot on his terms, then shooting a highly efficient shot. He's never made a 50-40-90 club, but if there was ever such a thing as a 49-39-89 club, he'd be part of that club practically every single year. Except if he was being guarded by the man they call two-way Wiggs. I mean, look, in Kawhi's last healthy season, in the 2 games they matched up, these are his numbers when he was being guarded by the 2014 number 1 pick. 4 points, 5 turnovers, 2 for 12 from the field, which equates to 16.7% from the field, and 0 for 4 from beyond the arc. Ouch, guys. He made Kawhi actually look pedestrian, which is something I thought I'd never hear. And speaking of pedestrian, do y'all remember when he made LeBron look silly? You know, I've been watching LeBron play his entire career, and not once have I ever seen anyone do this to him. I don't want to say sheesh, but sheesh. That in the playoffs, remember when Luka absolutely owned the Phoenix Suns and officially became Devin Booker's father? Well, he shot 48% from the field against them, but when Wiggins was on him, that number dropped a few notches as he only shot 41.5%. Now, let me get to the cherry on top. You want to know what he did against Jason Tatum? It's actually pretty insane, but this is why Andrew Wiggins arguably could have been the 2022 Finals MVP, if not for Steph Curry's Game 4 masterpiece. So here are the numbers. Jason Tatum in the 2022 Eastern Conference Finals shot 46% from the field for 25 points a ball game to put away the Miami Heat, and consequently, he was named the Eastern Conference Finals MVP. Well, when he was being guarded by Andrew Wiggins, that 46% dropped to 36.7% for 21.5 points a ball game. Man, that's literally a day and night drop-off. Andrew Wiggins literally turned the clamps on one of the best offensive weapons in today's game, And that's why when he returns to the Warriors within the next week or two, that's why he's going to completely change everything. So, what the heck was this?
Why ain't y'all so optimistic about this right now?
This has got to turn into a meme. I mean, this literally belongs right next to Paul George's bad shot meme. Now, anyway, with the way the standings are currently, the Warriors are likely going to end up as the 6th or the 7th seed. Likely. They could end up 5th or 8th, but if I were a betting man at this point, I'd say 6th or 7th. That means, in the first 2 rounds, they're likely to face both the Memphis Grizzlies and the Sacramento Kings. Well, against this dynasty version of the Grizzlies, who've never made it past the second round for Pete's sake, look, their 2 main offensive weapons are Ja Morant and Desmond Bane. Well, they say matchups are going to be key in this year's playoffs, and I can't think of 2 better defenders for these 2 than the young glove and two-way Wiggs. These 2 are going to put on a defensive masterclass in this series, and honestly, after that, these 2 can literally put on their resume, ended a dynasty. Then in the next series against the Kings, again, GP2 and Wiggins are going to take turns making De'Aaron Fox's life a living nightmare. And although Sacramento is a pretty balanced offensive team, if the Warriors could slow down Fox's 25 points a game and lower his shooting percentage, that'll probably be the series. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be the first 2 rounds. Then after that, if the Nuggets make the Western Conference Finals, although Jokic is a 7-foot unicorn, the Warriors have the tallest 6'3" guard in the world, and as long as he doesn't tap him on the behind again, the Warriors will be fine. Then when it comes to the biggest stage in the NBA, as long as the Warriors remain healthy, I'll take them over the Bucks, Celtics, and 76ers any day of the week. Because of this. Now, this is actually something that completely shocked me, and it'll probably surprise you as well. So, in LeBron James's last championship season, which was back in 2020, for the season, he had an effective field goal percentage of 55%, which is pretty solid. It's not as good as his Miami Heat days, but 55% is a solid number. Well, look, it's likely that the Warriors' 10-man playoff rotation is going to consist of these 10 players. Steph, Clay, Wiggins, Draymond, and Looney are going to be the starting 5. Then for the bench, it'll be Poole, Payton, Kuminga, J. Mike, and DiVincenzo. Well, take a look at these numbers here, guys. Every one of these players, except Jordan Poole, is shooting a higher effective field goal percentage than the 2020 Finals MVP. Isn't that just absolutely incredible? I mean, nearly every single player in the Warriors' playoff rotation is going to be more efficient than LeBron James was when he last won a championship. This is what you call a well-oiled juggernaut. Anyway, who does Wiggins replace, you might be asking? Well, Anthony Lamb isn't a bad player per se, but it'll have to be him based on the positions they play. Because the truth is, not only does Wiggins space the floor as a 40% shooter and cut to the rim at an elite level, which actually completes Steve Kerr's motion offense, but he's the one Warrior that players can dump the ball to in the post for reliable mid-range easy buckets. I mean, just take a look at this play here. With about 14 seconds left on the shot clock, nothing was clicking, so Poole decided to play it safe and gave the ball up to Wiggins. Then from there, Wiggins just got to work. With a smaller defender on him, he simply backed him down into the paint. Then from there, even through the outstretched arms of the 7'3" Porzingis, Wiggins elevates and gets a high percentage shot for the 2-point bucket. Now, here's another example. Draymond dumps the ball into Wiggins in the post, and from there, it's a simple one-dribble post drill for him. With his height, length, and athleticism, these are really hard to block, and it's something the Warriors could always go to when it's one of those off-shooting nights. It's not flashy, it won't make many highlight reels, but man, it's effective, and at the end of the day, the W is all that matters. My goodness, guys. With Andrew Wiggins back with the Warriors and with GP2, Golden State's defense will arguably go from the middle of the pack to becoming a top 5 defense in the league like how it's been for the past 2 seasons. Their biggest problem is literally going to be all patched up. Then when it comes to offense, well, like I just pointed out, they're already one of the best offensive teams in the league, but then when you plug in an efficient 20 points a game scorer like Wiggins, the Warriors are really quickly going to go from good to just becoming plain scary. Then after the Warriors win this year's championship and repeat as champions, I'm going to play this clip all day long.